This
Start
conference
recording.
will now be recorded.
All right. So yeah, my friend got a job, or I have to get into IT. Yes, and no programming skills required. Yes, of course, that's right. And what all things. So no database skills required. I don't agree with that answer. So you do have to know databases. It's a mandatory now, because previously, like 4 or 5 years back, it was not needed. People were only looking at Tableau, but currently the trend has changed. So you definitely have to know something about the databases. Otherwise, you cannot crack the interviews. Right. So that's one. And how is the market? I would say market is flat at the moment. So it's not like good number of calls or too many calls. No, I don't say that. But from last 3 to 4 months, so we have seen the increase in the calls, but not drastically, but yeah, fair amount, I would say. So you are getting calls, and if you manage to crack the interview, then definitely yes, you will be getting into your first job, or just upgrading the skills or to the next level. You can do that. So that's the current trend in the market. And this is one common question. So yes, if you want to get into reporting, yes, this is one of the option here. That's nice. Now, what do you understand? So many people doesn't know what is Tableau here. All right. So some people might already know that, but I'll just put that here. So it is one of the BI tool. So this is one of the tool available in the market. Now, when I say BI here, so every word is very important in our sessions. So BI, it stands for business intelligence, business intelligence tool. So what do you actually do with this type of tools here? So in previous days, like when I say previous, like 10 years back or 15 years back, if I want to generate any report, then I would have only worked with the DBAs, and then I would ask them, okay, this is your database, and I want this type of report. I want to see that report. So I want to depend so much on the database persons to develop the reports. So pretty olden days. So that is what happened. Olden days. So what they do, only DBs or database developers or administrators. So if you know both, then so they have generated the reports. They have generated a lot of reports. Now the trend has changed. Now why should we depend on only those people? So now there's a new type of jobs which got created. Like they said, like this is a vertical which is called as reporting. Now I don't want any DB dependence. So these tools came into the market, and the companies promoted that if you want to generate the reports by yourself, those who don't know much about the databases, still you can generate your reports. You can build different types of reports. Then who can do that? With the help of the tools, we can build it. So in simple terms, so what does the BI tool does is it's very simple. Convert your raw data, which is in the form of tables, into the beautiful reports. So when I say reports, so it can be different type of charts, like your line charts or the table charts or the pie charts, or there are so many, of course. There are like 40, 45 charts we will build on a day-to-day basis. So I need that tool which converts raw data into some graphical format. Then I need a tool. Okay, that's the tool's requirement. Then in the market, so we got like so many tools. Like you have like Cognos is one tool, and even the business objects was another tool. and then came into the market. The Tableau, then you might have heard ClickView, ClickSense, and then another leading tool, Power BI, and then another leading tool from Google, and also you have so many tools available in the market. Many tools so came into the market in last 10 years, I would say. Right now, so one of the tool got famous from last 7 years. Yes, I would say 7 years, from 2014. So this started picking up, and so there comes the tool Tableau here. So this is a company which developed the reporting tool. So this company, so Tableau company itself developed the Tableau tool, and they, they did not find much success when they started. So it started from 2008 onwards, but they didn't had much success, and they made a lot of improvements, the bug fixes, and they made it very, very user friendly, such a way that now most of the big companies, they started liking this particular tool. So I'll tell you why. It's because of the user friendliness, easy to use, and hardly 4 to 5 screens you have to work with. That's all, 4 to 5 screens. And the navigations are very, very, very simple, and you don't have to remember too much, and no programming skills required. And it also have got many, many features like default charts available. And most importantly, so it is one very good feature. I would say it's very, very good feature. It is just drag and drop. So if you do drag and drop, Tableau builds the reports automatically. And that too, the performance is very high. In just fraction of seconds, your reports will be ready. Right? So that's the advantage. And okay, that's something about the tool. But why do we say intelligence? So this is fine. Business is fine because this is your business data, what you are working on. That's what we are converting into reports. But why intelligence? So yes, so internally it has got some additional features where it can predict the future as well. It's not just the past which I'm going to show you. I can predict your future as well based on your past data. So internally it has got some algorithms which it will take care of itself, and it will predict the future based on the past. So that's where the term comes, intelligence. All right. So it is very, very useful things for so many companies. So I want to predict the future. Yes, of course, the tools can help you. So that's the background of how companies started liking it from 2015 onwards, and then it has got major success from last 4 to 5 years, and there were good number of openings as well. So every day we used to hear from people that I got 20-25 calls per day. Of course now there's no such number, but yes, I've seen people, they switched off their mobiles, they could not answer those many number of calls. But things drastically changed. Now you got some competitors as well. So yes, of course, Microsoft has come up with Power BI. It's giving good competition, and still, I would say these two are very, very good competitors in the market as of today. So if you are into reporting, so I would say personally, from my side, so this is your first baby step. So you understand the background knowledge and how you build reports and what things you should consider in building the reports. Then work with the tools, and then take the next step. You can learn some other tools available. And with one technology, you cannot really survive in the market for too long. So if you know Power BI, you have to learn Tableau. And if you know Tableau, you have to learn Power BI as well. So it goes like two tools together. But with one tool, it's difficult to survive in the current market. Okay, that's one. All right, now let's say that's something about the Tableau here, the background. Now, when I say Tableau here, so it is not just a tool. I would say this is a suit. Okay, what does a suit means? So it is like set of different different tools or different softwares. So combiningly, that makes it Tableau here. Okay, so I'll say Tableau is a suite here, not just a tool. Now, when you say I'm learning Tableau, then you have to learn below things as well. So what are the components which we have to learn? Components to learn with Tableau. So I would say, so there are few of them. So Tableau Desktop is the first component which you have to learn. Then you have to learn Tableau Server as well. Then you have to know. So nowadays, so we are not using physical servers. Everything is going to cloud. So cloud or Tableau Online, we would say. Then you have Tableau Mobile as well, and you've got Tableau Reader. It's one more component which you got, and you have got one more component which is Tableau Public, and there's also one more which is Tableau Prep. So these are the different components which are available here. Sorry, let's place that here. So these are different components which are available, which you have to learn, which you have to know definitely. And this is a list. Now, when you are learning Tableau, you have two ways to go after the course is complete. So majority, I'll say 99% of the people will be working as Tableau developers or BI developers or BI consultants. So you have so many designations available based on the companies, or you will say BI analyst. Have like 4 to 5, 6 different roles, names available. So what all these people do is you are responsible to generate reports by taking the data, then convert it into reports, and then you send it across to your management. That means your job is to build the reports. This is one type of job profile available in the market. So this is what you do. And of course, yes, I would say 99% of the people, so they will be getting into this role which is available. And 1% of the people, if you know something about the networking, something about managing the servers, managing the softwares, managing the applications, if you know something about your deployments, releases, then how do you manage the clusters? So it's all about the admin activities. Then there is 1% of the job profile which is like managing, or I would say just administration of the BI. Then you will definitely get into this kind of a role. So where we call it as Tableau admins. So the role will be like administrators. So it is like BI admins or Tableau admins. So different roles you will have. Or if you are already having that role, then you can have like something like DevOps person or DevOps engineer. So you can get into that kind of a role. But chances are very less, I would say, because you need to know so many things in the background. So that's 1% of the job profiles. And even for this you have very good salaries as well. Now, do we learn this and this? Yes, of course. We are going to learn desktop, and I'll also show you what you do in the server, and how do you manage your reports, and how do you publish your reports, and how do you control your data, how do you apply securities, and how do you allow only people what they want to see. So admin activities, what admins do, I will also show you that here, but not the clustering, but not the managing. So I cannot show you that because we will get into the cloud. Nowadays, everyone, they are using cloud here. So that's one thing. Yes. So we will be covering desktop. So we'll be covering server, and yes, of course, even this is just these two are together. So I'll show you cloud. I'll tell you the differences between each one of them, and I'll tell you what is what, which one did we use, and which one do we use nowadays. So we'll talk about all of them. And yeah, in simple terms, desktop is to build the reports, Tableau server is to manage the reports in simple terms. And so when I say server, it is like the physical one. That means you have on premise. So the companies are responsible to manage the servers. So which companies doesn't like nowadays? So they prefer handling over that to the cloud systems. Everything getting migrated to cloud itself. So yes, we will go to cloud. So here manage the reports in the cloud. The cloud here. And of course I'll show you like how do you do this, and even I'll tell you how do you configure this. This is just 2 minutes task, and here this will take 7 hours to configure and to make this machine ready as a server. Yeah, it takes that much of time. But I'll tell you how do you do both of them. Right? And then the next component. So what is mobile? So yeah, the word itself says the mobile. This is a mobile app to see our reports in our mobile itself. I'll show you how do you see your reports in mobile. So you can see in your Android phones as well. You can install it from the Play Store and you can see the reports. Then this is one more component, Tableau Reader. It's just the read-only application to see our reports. So we'll talk about all of this, but just one line statements about what are these. I'll show you even this one as well. And public, very, very important one for your resume preparation, for your project works. Many people ask me, can you give me any sample data so that we need to build the reports. This is one place where you have thousands and thousands of reports which are available. So you just have to replicate them. So data will also be there. You have to just build them. All right. So I'll show you how do you access these, how to get them, how to build them. So sample project works, you can make use of this. It's a very good place. But what is this here? It's a free website given by Tableau to upload your reports. Right? It's a free website. So we will register. Maybe in a couple of days we will register. And the last component, what we have here is Tableau Prep. This is like the ETL tool, I would say, or a tool for cleanup of the data. But fortunately or unfortunately, this tool did not become that much popular. So most of the companies doesn't use this tool. They use their own mechanisms or other tools to clean up their incoming data, and then they will just start working with the first component desktop. But yes, remember there is one more tool which TABLEAU developed, which is TABLEAU Prep, and they developed this to clean the data and build some flows as well. But it's not very much successful in the market because the other tools which are available, they are very very popular tools. So many options available. Maybe in future, we don't know. And I'm not going to show you about this because it's not that useful. But I'll show you the rest of the things. How do you work with each one of them? And it's a free tool. You can download it and you can work with it. It's pretty simple, but that's not really necessary for us. So this part, it is not covered, but I'll cover you these things. Okay. And all right, so when we talk about this, is it a free tool? So many people ask, is it a free software where I can download and install it? So is TABLEAU free? No, it is not free tool. It is a commercial tool. It is a commercial tool. That means you have to purchase a license to work with it. But I'll give you like two options. For first 14 days, it is free. So no questions asked. It is completely free and you have all features of the commercial tool. So you don't have to worry about it. So when you download this tool, when you install it, for first 14 days, it is completely free. And after 14 days, what we should do? So I'll tell you the other way we have. So we have to register as a student. And if you register as a student, you get license for 1 year. You will get a license for 1 year and you can easily work with it. So during this 1 year, you can learn, practice, and you really don't need 1 year, hardly 3 to 6 months on an average. You should be able to get into your jobs. But of course, here this is the alternative you have. So 1 year, it's for free for you. I'll show you the steps. How do I do it in next sessions? I'll show you that. Okay, that's one. And I'll take a quick pause here. Till now, do you have any questions? It should be two ways. So those who ask more questions, you will get into job quickly. That's what the trend seeing from last 17 years. No questions? Very good. That means you are very clear. Now, the next thing, what we will see here. So what do we cover? So I told you that here. So these are the things which I will be covering. And along with, okay, somebody had a question. So, right, anyone wanted to ask a question?
Mm, Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I'm Zakir. Actually, I wanted to know, can we get exposure to some real-time project solving things
Absolutely.
which
See,
we do into
every
real time?
scenario, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. The reason is from day one or maybe day two. So whatever scenarios I get into the sessions, it is completely what you do in your real time. See, I'm telling you, this is my batch number 106, I believe. And where is that number? So I've got hundreds of people who work in the companies, and they always reach out to me saying that this is what I work in my day to day activity. This is what the scenarios we have. This is what the data sets we work with. And this is a requirement we got. This is a typical task I got. This is an easy task I got. So what? I do is, so I gather all those informations and I'm trying to bring them into our regular sessions as part of the scenarios. So every scenario, most of the scenarios or majority of the scenarios, so those are from the live scenarios itself. And the learning path, I would say here itself. So first few days, it will be simple. First few days, it will be simple. And from next 15 to 20 days, yes, of course, the learning path is little difficult. And after that, the learning path will be more difficult because I have to show you simple scenarios, little tricky scenarios, and next is complex scenarios. So every scenario which we talk about is from the real time itself, and so you will definitely go through it because initially you will have questions, but as we move on, you will get to know that okay, this is what we do in the companies. And even after you join the companies, so most of them what they say is we learned so many tricky scenarios, but in real time you use only simple scenarios. So don't worry about that. So every scenario we cover, it's all based on the scenarios which people work in the companies. Right? So that part is covered. You don't have to worry about it. And sessions are planned in such a way that so I will be covering you about Tableau and all those components, and along with that, so people call it real-time scenarios. So this is part of your course, and also the interview questions. This is very important one, and you can be assured that whatever interview you attend, 90 to 95% questions comes from what we discussed in our class itself. So I would say 90 to 95%. Its only thing is you have to answer those questions. So I'll be showing you question first, then answer, question, answer. And even theoretical one, I'll put the question, I'll write the answer. Practical ones, so this is a interview question scenario or the real-time scenario, and then show you the report. So it is commonly um, the people say that most of the questions comes from what we discussed. So I'll say 90 to 95%. It's guaranteed. They don't go beyond that. Okay. And then along with this, so I'll be covering up the W certifications questions as well. So you have like 3 levels here. So 3 or 4 levels because they added a new certification. And you can easily clear up your certification by yourself. And I'll guide you if somebody is interested. What should we learn? Where should we practice? So the interview questions along with that certification questions is also covered as part of our sessions. And also I'll cover you the resume preparations. So what you have to keep, what you have to exclude from your resumes based on your experience. So we have to look at the person by person. So what things you have to keep. So we will see that case by case. It's not like general things. And also the interview preparation. So the last session I will be taking on the interview preparation, your resume preparation, like what you have to keep based on your experience and how you have to answer them. So I'll be covering up this part as well. And so these are things, I mean, most of the things. And along with this, you will get some assignments, maybe sometimes weekly, otherwise after a few topics are covered. So I'll be giving you some data sets. You have to answer them. You have to build the reports. You have to send it back. So we will analyze them, and you will get to know like what mistakes you did and what good things you did, what have to improve. So those things, it's also covered. So you should have like 4 to 5 assignments, Okay, let's see somewhere I have to. I'll just show you that how does it work. And it is that. Okay. So, for example, if you take this, okay, some challenging questions, the interview questions, so it should be somewhere on the desktop itself. Okay, let's take a look. Desktop, there's Tableau. Okay. So the certification questions and evaluation test. So I'll be sending you some questions, some data sets, some questions. So you have to solve them and you have to answer them. Something like this for your practice purpose. Right. And you have to send back the reports to me for evaluations. So this is also part of your course. It's not separate. And along with that, yeah. So one more thing was there, but we took that outside. So we used to cover some SQL as well, because nowadays people are asking more questions on SQL. So the best thing what we did is we took out that course separately. Previously, it was like 4 to 5 sessions on SQL, which was uh, which was sufficient to crack the interviews. But nowadays, the SQL, they are getting into more deeper, so many people are failing in the interviews. So what we came up is, so this SQL, it is not now covered as part of your Tableau course. So this is completely a separate course for that, and I'll be taking up 30 sessions for that. So this is completely separate. So we took out of Tableau course the SQL because it was not sufficient to crack the interview. So you have to definitely go through complete in and out of SQL. So that's separate now. So SQL is not part of your Tableau course. All right, so that's the one. And so if you want to take up these two tasks, how do we cover them? Is so for Tableau, so this is my plan. So every day Tableau will be for 1 hour, and SQL sessions will also be for 1 hour. Right? And so the Tableau course will be for 2 months, I will say. I'll take 2 months, and it would be for 1.5 hour. So sometimes 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours based on the topics. So if you only want to take the Tableau course, so that would be for 2 months, and on an average, it's 1.5 hour. And if you also go with Tableau plus SQL, yes, of course. So SQL, it is again covered for 30 days, or I would say 1 month course. So this is separate. It's not covered as part of Tableau. So that's what we have planned up, because I don't want people to fail in SQL. They are very good in Tableau. This is what we get from the interviewers, but they say like you are bad in SQL because they don't know what is SQL. And we always say you learn SQL on your own. So people are, they're not able to figure out how to learn SQL, what things to focus on, how to practice them. So for that reason, we took that separate. So this is about your course, and this is what you learn and how many days. So every day you will have the sessions, and if you have any questions, there'll be a WhatsApp group created. You can always place your questions, and I'll be answering them right away in your WhatsApp group. If you want to take it to any session, so send your questions in email. So I'll be answering all your questions. So these sessions runs from Monday to Saturday, and hardly there will not be any breaks. I don't like giving breaks in between. And only thing what I'll say, like for every batch we say, so if you fail, that's our failure. I don't want to take that blame. But if you success, yes, that will be on your hard work. Okay. So any questions so far? come up with more questions. Anything in general or about the subject.
Hi Pradeep, Sukesh here. I have a quick
Hey,
question.
yeah.
Is the timing going to be 9 to 10, or is there any other timings for this session?
Mostly it will be 9 to 10, but if the majority says we want in a different time, so we have to again re-evaluate it. But otherwise, yeah, this will be the regular time.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And what about the SQL? Like it will be after the Tableau session, or how it's going to be?
No, parallelly. So, for example, 9 to 10 Tableau and 15-20 minutes break, maybe 10:30 to 11:30. So same day, so you have to undergo both of them. The reason is you have to practice both of them parallelly to get a good command, good control on the subject. The reason is whatever you learn in SQL, you have to see them back in Tableau sometimes to build your report. So it should be parallel. So this might start after a week. After 1 week, I'll start SQL parallelly.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good question.
Hi
Because
sir,
if we
good
take,
morning.
sorry again, say again, madam.
Uh, Sir, can you hear me?
It bits and pieces, but I could still manage to hear.
Yeah, this is Sita. Is it okay now?
Hey, yeah, I could hear. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, like here in the Tableau, because we have only a sample set, so will you show us how to connect to different data sources as well, or how does it work?
Okay, so if I frame your question, it was difficult to hear, but I understood that will you be showing only the sample superstore or different data sets? Now I'll be showing you different data sets. Sample superstore is one which we will be using it, and other than that, I'll be creating my own data sets because the real-time scenarios you might not get everything from one data set. So I'll be creating so many different data sets here. So you can see on the screen. So it's all Excel, and once we know SQL, so I'll bring the data into from SQL, from Excel, and from MDB as well. So different data sets, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah. So I'll put that here. So do we work on different data sets? Definitely. Different data sets. Answer is yes. Because the real-time scenarios, we can't use one data set. So
Again, and are you starting the session from tomorrow onwards, or do you have any other batch for that?
do you have any other batch? Okay, no, I currently have only one. So I finished up Power BI, so I'm picking up Tableau now. So I teach both of them, but currently only one batch we have. This is
Okay,
only
so
batch.
okay, suppose if I miss some 2 or 3 classes, so will I get any recording so that I can catch up on them?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So do we get the recorded sessions if we miss the class? That's a very good question, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, of course, you have to get recorded sessions because everyone has some priorities over the classes. Yeah. So, yeah, of course, if you miss the sessions anytime, so you should be able to go back and look at your drive. So, I'll be uploading the recorded sessions which we done for that day. But it's not immediate because it takes some time. So, after 3 to 4 hours, you should find the video available, and along with the video the data sets what we will use, and the notes, especially the notes, I will be sharing that day-to-day basis. So just as an
Okay,
example, if you want to look at things, so we write the different notes, the interview questions, you can see the sample ones. So these are all interview questions, the notes. So everything will be shared. This folder will be shared. So if you talk about the SQLs, um, yeah, the queries, the data sets, whatever we use, so it will be shared.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hi, this is Chandan. Hello.
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
Um, After I joined this course, we provide Tableau lessons.
No. So license part, everyone has to generate their own keys. I'll show you how do you do that. Um, because you have to get your some ID cards, maybe from your friends, colleagues, students. You have to upload that ID card and the details on that ID card, and you have to upload it in the website. And Tableau validates it whether it's a valid real ID card or not. Then they will reply you back two things. If it is a valid, then you get a key, and that key you can use it for 1 year. And if the ID card is not valid, still they'll reply you back saying that upload some more documents like your bona fide certificate or the memo sheet, or they'll ask that document. So after you do it, again you will get reply back with the keys or again more documents. So this is a general process, and everyone have to generate their own keys. It's a simple task, just 2 minutes if you have that ID card ready.
Yeah, but yeah, like what he is asking is really a tricky one because is it gender specific? Because see, here because I am a girl, so do I need to get an ID card for girl only, or is that okay? Can I upload a boy's ID card? Is it okay? Will that work?
Your voice is too low, or
Uh,
it's not really audible. Or can you type your question? Maybe
okay,
I could
can you
hear
hear me
other
now?
voice. It's manageable. I'll try again. So ask
No,
your
but
question.
let me be louder. What I am saying is, what he is saying is what he is asking is a tricky question because suppose we upload an ID card, suppose I being a girl, do I have to
Um,
upload
it,
girl's ID
it's not
card?
audible, madam. Sorry.
Let me type.
Uh, it's not audible. Maybe you're asking a good question, but it's not audible. So I'll again maybe try using speakers or typing the question, because it might help others as well. I'll look at the chat. Okay, do I have to upload only a gender specific? No, no, no. There's nothing based on the gender. Just your sample ID cards based on the college. If you are studying in any college or 10th class, even from 6th class, it allows. 6th or 8th class, it allows. So your student, your kids' ID cards, that is also fine. And it is not at all gender specific, but only thing which Tableau says is it should have year. It should have year, the admission year or the academic year. So I would say academic year on the ID card. Only then it makes okay. This is a valid ID card. Like from, for example, it should be like 2023 to 24. So the current academic year. So if you just have this, then that should be more than sufficient. It's not at all gender specific. Yeah, it's again good question, but it's pretty simple. So people get very easily the keys, but for some people it's little tricky. If they don't have the full names or if they don't have the academic years, then Tableau says, no, I need some more proof that this ID card is a genuine one. So they will send email, please upload one more document. They'll do that. Okay, and for SQL, are you running any other batch different time? No, this is the very first time. After 5 years, I'm just taking out SQL separately because based on the interview questions, what I collected, so that forced me to keep this batch separate. So currently, I do not have any other timings. But so if this batch starts, so this will be the time. For example, if it is 9 to 10, and after 1 week, so after 1 week, so I'll be starting SQL maybe from 10:30 to maybe 11:15, maybe 45 minutes. It is sufficient because 2 sessions, and then you have to practice on these as well. And in case if the timings are like 8:30 to 9:30, example. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, somebody wanted to ask a question. And yeah, even for this, I'll be recording the sessions because without recording, it will be not very useful. So you should have the sessions so that you can go back and understand them, practice them before coming to the next sessions. Otherwise, the connectivity, it will be gone. It will be difficult for you. So this is how we wanted to run this. And the success rate, yeah, it's very good from last 5 years. So I'm running this course, and so many people are able to crack the interviews on their own. And I'll tell you the packages range. So the range of packages, so we got from starting from 6 lakhs per annum to the highest one is 31 lakhs per annum. This is the packages range which we got, and it really depends on your experience. I mean, if you are a fresher, if you have 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it really depends on your current position. So how much salary you can expect in the interviews. But on an average, this is an index. The index which we use is somewhere between 2 to 2.5, meaning, so if you have years of experience, so number of years of experience, let's say I have like, okay, so ignore the spelling. If I have like 3 years or 4 years of experience, so you can say multiplied by 2.5 if you do well in the interviews. Okay, so this comes around, this is just the minimum, so I would say. But if you do very well in the interview, so this goes to 12, 13 as well, plus with your joining bonuses as well. It all depends on one person. He just had a 2 years, 2.5, I would say, and he have managed to get like 16 lakhs package. So it really depends on number of years you keep and how well you do in the interview. So that really matters. But yeah, I've seen so many people, and I'll say like on an average, the batch strength will be 25 plus, and so number of people getting jobs on their own. So I would say more than 50%, and for one of the batch, it's 85%. All of them, majority of them, got placed, and some did not try. It's not my problem, but on an average, yeah, you should be getting into your next positions. If you follow sessions till the end, practice what I teach here, you have to put some more extra effort, get it done, and you should be coming out with offer letters. So that's the average salaries and how do you get it. And finally, here, this is what happens. Okay, so this is just a demo. and I wanted to tell you like what all you learn, what all I cover, and how do you learn them, and what all I provide you. And yeah, this is what I cover. And yeah, we'll be looking at this thing tomorrow. So we'll start looking at the basics, fundamentals first before we start working on the tool. Some of them they do not have the background knowledge, so just the basic stuffs. Then we'll be installing first component, then we'll play around. All right, so this is just the basic demo which I wanted to show. So do you have any other questions? You can put it in the chat or speak up. You can argue, you can comment, anything is fine. And so with my experience, I'll just cover like what interviews expect you when you get into the interview discussion room. All right. So I'll be covering from that aspect as well.